beautiful soul. Today I'm going to share with you the 7 best crystals for beginners. How to find them, how to cleanse them, how they align with your chakras, how to use them in everyday life. It's much simpler than some people might think. So we're going to start with obsidian, this black volcanic glass. It's not actually a crystal or a gemstone. It's a volcanic glass. Obsidian is created when a volcano erupts and the lava quickly cools. So it's got some really sharp edges when you find it in its natural form, and you can find it tumbled or in an orb shape as well. I recommend that when you first start working with crystals, it's probably best to get a tumbled stone that you can carry with you. It's much more practical, and you can really get a feeling for the gemstone. When I first started with gemstones, I would get small tumbled stones and actually wear them in my bra or in a medicine pouch around my neck. Worst case scenario, I will put them in my pocket or carry them in my purse. And then I graduated from the tumbled stone to pillars, orbs, more raw shapes, and clusters. Those are not as easy to handle, not as practical for carrying around with you, but those are great for keeping on your desk, by your bed, depending on the crystal. Not all crystals go well in the bedroom, and other places where you will interact with them throughout the day. All right, so obsidian is a really, really practical one because it's super grounding, super protective, and it absorbs negativity. The issue with obsidian absorbing negativity is it will hold that negativity, so you will want to clear it regularly. And I'll talk about clearing your gemstones a little bit later. Obsidian is really powerful in helping, though, with shadow work, emotional release, and setting boundaries. So again, like I said before, it's super grounding and protective, but that grounding energy, if you are wearing obsidian, I work with malas, right? So I wear them around my neck or on my wrists. And if you are just starting to work with obsidian, it will very possibly feel really super heavy, almost painful. For me, when I first started working with obsidian, I had it in the form of a necklace. I put it around my neck and I couldn't wear it for 5 minutes before it started to really hurt my shoulders. Now, I wasn't wearing it on my shoulders, I was wearing it around my neck, but I felt it in my shoulders all the way at the end, and it hurt, like it felt like pain. It will feel different for different people. For some people, it just feels really heavy, and they'll think, wow, these beads are really heavy, when in fact, obsidian is full of little air bubbles. It's actually much lighter than a lot of other crystals and gemstones. But it will feel very, very heavy if you are not grounded. If you need obsidian, that means that you lack grounding, and you will feel that heaviness the most. If you put obsidian around your neck and it feels heavy, know that obsidian is an important gemstone for you to work with. I had to wear it for like 5 minutes a day for about a week, and then I could wear it a little bit longer, half an hour, and now, of course, it's not an issue at all, right? It doesn't take long to adjust to the gemstone, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then once you get that grounded energy, it'll feel light and easy to wear. Obsidian is really the most, obsidian is the gemstone that I felt that the most acutely, and that other people I've heard from will feel it the most acutely. Obsidian is super powerful in its grounding energy, and again, that's why it helps with emotional release and with shadow work. It helps you to get deep, right? So if you're just starting with a spiritual awakening, for instance, and you are processing old traumas and old wounds, or you want to get closer to ancestors and maybe do ancestral healing or karmic release, that kind of thing, obsidian is a wonderful gemstone to work with. But again, remember, it does absorb a lot of negativity. So again, more than any other gemstone, this one needs to be cleared and cleansed. I won't say more than any other gemstone. Blacks in general, you'll want to clear and cleanse them most often, monthly perhaps. if you are working with them a lot. Okay. Now the next stone is red jasper. This resonates with your sacral chakra, right around your belly button. And you know what's interesting? I found this obsidian shard while I was going for a walk. Now this is volcanic glass, and I live in Michigan. So I don't know how volcanic glass ended up on the roadside here in Michigan. I thought that was really super cool and synchronistic that I found that here. I clearly spirit was gifting it to me. Don't know where it came from, but you know, maybe volcanoes have been around a lot longer than, you know, we remember. Who knows? You know, it could have also been dumped and poured on with street rocks right along the side of the road. They've done that for generations. So things can get moved from one part of the earth to another. I have a citrine I'm going to show you that I also found. I also found red jasper in that form. And if you find raw red jasper, it's going to look like clay or a broken red brick. That's generally what raw red jasper will look like in the rough form. But in a tumbled form, it will look more like this or like this. Okay, this is Red River rock jasper, and this is regular red jasper. There are lots and lots of different kinds of jasper and red jasper. All of them have a very, very similar property of nurturing, stabilizing, supporting your vitality, supporting creative energy, and emotional balance. So you'll recognize a lot of the things from obsidian also cross over to to red jasper, because the root chakra and the sacral chakra are neighbors. So they share a lot of energy with one another. And you'll find that as we ascend the chakras with our gemstones. All right. But this is a really nurturing energy. It makes you feel comfortable in your own skin. If you carried red jasper with you for a while, or wear red jasper for a couple of weeks, you will find yourself slowing down, giving yourself the food that you need to nourish yourself, taking time for yourself, going out into nature and finding peace where you might, or giving yourself peace where you may have previously denied that to yourself in exchange for what you think you should be doing, or what you think is going to benefit you most, or some stressors. This is a natural de-stressor. It brings you into yourself. And for that reason, it's also a stone of pleasure. Again, it's by the sacral chakra is by the belly button, which is where your reproductive organs are. So when you get a gemstone that resonates with those, that will bring fertility, but also sensuality. So where you're feeling good in your own skin and giving yourself what you need to be nourished, you'll also give yourself what you need to feel good in life. Take that as it resonates. Okay. Now, the next gemstone that I find to be critical is citrine. Beautiful, sunny citrine. This is a crystal ball of citrine. This is a tumbled piece of citrine. And this is a piece of citrine that I found in Florida when I was on vacation. I was walking around this restaurant called Doc Ford's, I think that's what it was, and they had poured pebble around their sidewalks, and in it, they were all about this size, and I recognized something yellow and bright, and I'm like, what is this? I couldn't believe it. I found a piece of citrine. That is very, very fortunate. Citrine is called the merchant stone because for ages, merchants would carry citrine in their cash box, in their treasure chest, in their cash drawer, in their pouches, wherever it is that they keep money, because they believe, it is thought, that citrine will attract more to it, right? So if you keep it in your cash register, citrine will bring more. I keep a thin shard in my wallet, in my purse, and I wear it on my receiving hand so that I can receive more. You know, and we'll talk more about how to wear your gemstones and use your gemstones later. But, you know, if you're looking to attract wealth, or To lighten the spirit and bring happy, joyful, energizing vibes, citrine in your solar plexus chakra is the gemstone and chakra to work with. So it's an abundance magnet. It brings happiness, but it also brings confidence. And again, it's great for manifestation. The energy of citrine is super easy, super light, and it doesn't really need clearing that often. In fact, some people report that citrine never needs cleansing, that you could actually use it for cleansing and energizing other gemstones. And I would tend to fall into that school of thought. Citrine is a reflection of the sun's energy, and the sun is the natural cleanser of our solar system. So, it resonates with your solar plexus chakra, which is the sun of your energetic body, where energy emanates and where that bright, bright light of life and I don't want to keep using the word energy, right? Vitality emanates from. So citrine will do that for you. Keep citrine around when you need to cheer up. Give it to somebody who needs to cheer up as well. Right? Now, the next gemstone, which resonates with your heart chakra, is rose quartz. This beautiful pink gemstone. This is the rough version of it, and this is tumbled. I recommend, if you have a little tumbled piece of rose quartz and you're a girl and you wear a bra, put it right in the middle, or wherever you can put it so that it stays in the vicinity of your heart chakra. That is a deeply, deeply healing energy, rose quartz. And no matter what kind of life you've had, no matter where you're from, we all could use a little extra help with our heart chakra. Heart chakras, are a place where we process and we receive back from the universe, whatever it is that we've created out there, right? So in clearing that energy of the heart chakra, we open to receive more. We open our heart space to forgiveness of ourselves and others, to give and receive love, and to open our arms to receive whatever it is that Spirit might have for us. Rose quartz is a stone of unconditional love. It's very, very soft and self-compassionate. It brings a feeling of ease and grace. It really resonates with goddess energy, like Lakshmi of the Hindus, Kuan Yin of the Buddhists, or whatever goddess it is that you're working with, Freya, Mother Earth, Gaia. All of these have a very mothering, nurturing energy. And if you want to grow closer to that face of God, right, the goddess of love, then rose quartz is the gemstone that you would want to be working with. All right. However, I will oftentimes get requests from people that don't necessarily want to wear a feminine mala, right? Because I make malas. And they will ask me to replace rose quartz with something else that resonates with the heart chakra. And a very, very, very excellent replacement for rose quartz, if you don't want to have the feminine energy of pink, is Aventurine. Aventurine, in this beautiful green hue, has a very similar crystalline structure to rose quartz. It's still, a little bit translucent. It can be opaque or translucent like rose quartz. The energy feels very much the same. It's got the same hardness, the same heft, and it also resonates with goddess energy. All of those goddesses I mentioned, they all resonate with green energy as well. So Aventurine also brings luck and emotional healing and heart expansion. Green in general will bring luck, manifestation, growth, abundance, and healing, right? So a beautiful replacement for rose quartz. So I'm just going to give this an honorable mention, okay? Now, the next chakra up is the throat chakra, and the gemstone that I recommend is Sodalite. Sodalite in the rough form looks like this. It's got white striations and blue inclusions, right? Sometimes it just looks, it looks just like baby blue like this. Sometimes it looks dark blue with white swirls. Sometimes it will just look dark blue with a little baby blue in it. It's got a lot of different matrices. It's mined from all over the earth, and whatever mine it is that you're getting from, it's going to have a little bit different kind of formulation that goes into the creation of the sodalite. Sodalite's so good for your throat chakra. And the throat chakra, you know, it's all about truth and intuition and clear communication. But what does that mean? You know, I heard that so many times, and I always thought, I don't have a problem with truth. You know, maybe I don't have the best, the most eloquent way to express myself, but it wasn't a concern of mine until I realized that I wasn't living my truth. I wasn't speaking my truth. I was holding myself back. I was hiding my candle under a bushel, you know, as they used to say in Sunday school for me. You know, I was hiding in some way my truth. You know, there was some shame in things that I believed or wanted to express that didn't that weren't super popular with other people. So I would hide those parts of me. And when you do that, when you snuff out parts of you or dampen parts of you, that afflicts you, that afflicts your throat chakra in ways that will come out in other ways. Like, for instance, you could get health issues around the throat chakra. Really, all of your chakras, any blockages that you might have, you know, with any of your chakras is going to manifest in some way in your physical body and or in the well-being, the health of your life. So for me, you know, it manifested a lot around my throat chakra with some health problems that manifested like having to clear my throat a lot and having GERD, that kind of thing up here was an issue, thyroid issues, and those are just health issues, but outwardly in my life, the inability and unwillingness to express myself fully made me really unhappy and unsatisfied with my life, no matter how successful I was. On the outside, I looked really successful. On the inside, I wasn't satisfied. And the throat chakra had a lot to do with that. So using blue gemstones, right? Sodalite being a really good one. And again, all of the gemstones that I'm recommending right now are super gentle. These are great for beginners. They're very, very practical in that they work really well with the accompanying chakra and with one another and your physical body. So I'm giving you stones that you could give to your child, you know, to play with. So, you know, and that you will want to work with now and for the rest of your life. Once you get the vibe of these and the feel of these, you will want to continue to work with them, right? Even when you bring in other gemstones that resonate with these chakras that may be more precious, more rare, more interesting, all that. The ones that you start working with, these most practical ones, these basic ones, are like a palette that you can build on. There is a lot to these beautiful gemstones that I'm sharing. I digress. Sorry. The next one is for your brow chakra, and that is amethyst. Amethyst is often called the stone of sobriety because it's often used for people who want to go on a diet or quit drinking or quit some other addiction that may not even be a physical addiction, but, you know, more of a mental, like workaholism, that kind of thing. Amethyst brings clarity to your brow chakra, your third eye, and your mind. This is the area of your mind. So it gives you clarity about who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, and your connection to spirit, which is your crown chakra, right? It's the next step up. So it opens you up to greater wisdom, to intuition, to understanding your dreams and dream work. Understanding your dreams, remembering your dreams, potentially lucid dreaming. Amethyst is a powerful and, again, very, very gentle way of opening up your third eye. Now, it brings the intuition, right? Clarity, wisdom, all that, but also peace. Amethyst is a gemstone of peace. I love amethyst, and citrine can often come in like crystal clusters like this. And I love this form of amethyst. Again, though, just starting to work with amethyst, a nice tumbled gemstone or beads, wearing a mala of amethyst is a wonderful way of just becoming, of feeding your peace body and becoming a more peaceful person, more stable, more erect energetically, somehow aligning yourself more between spirit and your body and Mother Earth. Just difficult for me to express how this actually works, but amethyst brings such clarity and such understanding about where you are and where you've been and where you're going. Things just become easier and simpler. It's beautiful. If you want to, if you want one gemstone to work with, to begin with, I would recommend amethyst, because amethyst is a great one for meditating with. Meditating with amethyst, again, stimulates your brow chakra and your accompanying crown chakra. So it opens you up and invites divine wisdom and divine light to enter into your body and your life, right? So this would be potentially the quintessential gemstone for beginners, as long as you're meditating with it. Now, amethyst comes in all different shades. Comes light purple to dark purple, really super light lavender purple to really almost black colored dark purple, and you get all different kinds of grades and types of amethyst. There are some amethysts with white inclusions. So there are two kinds of amethyst that I love so much. One is the kind, it's called dream amethyst, and it has clear quartz in it that looks like white inclusions, almost like a chevron pattern. In fact, sometimes it's called chevron amethyst or dogtooth amethyst because it looks like teeth, the way it goes up, up, up and down. That's a beautiful one for tying together your brow chakra and your crown chakra. And the other kind is just the real pale amethyst that you can see there's almost clear parts in it, as well as like lavender. Again, that is weaving together your brow and crown chakra. And for me, that's like the most peaceful, beautiful, easy kind of vibe. All right. And lastly, clear quartz. This is a clear quartz crystal ball. You'll see it looks kind of white, right? It's not super clear. And then that compared to this obelisk, right? You can see clear quartz can come in very, very clear grades and then kind of milky grades. It's all the same. There are lots and lots of kinds of, or lots and lots of forms of clear quartz for you to work with. Clear quartz is an amplifier of energy. It amplifies other gemstones and also your intentions. Like you can program clear quartz with ideas. The new moon of any month is a wonderful time for you to set a new intention. And if you have a piece of clear quartz, that's a beautiful gemstone for you to work with in programming your intention for the month. So say the new moon is tonight, and I want to start a new lifestyle routine that's healthier, right? I will do a little ritual with my clear quartz this month on what my plans are, how I want it to, what I want to look like a month from now in the next new moon, how I want to see things unfold and how I want the universe to partner with me in that goal or intention, and keep the clear quartz with me for the month and allow it to reverberate back to me, that intention, and then draw to me things that will help draw to me things that will help to manifest that intention, right? Now, this is a clear quartz cluster, right? Just like amethyst and citrine, it comes in clusters too. And there's also other kinds of obelisks. This is a little bit different kind. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to I hope it's focusing. This is called Lemurian quartz. This is a different kind of quartz point where they're found actually with these grooves already carved into them. And it reminds me of a CD. These grooves hold information. And it's a lot like if you look at a CD, the disc has these grooves, right, carved into it that hold information. So the CD is programmed. Lemurian quartz is programmed. And this holds the wisdom of, some people say Mu or Lemuria or Atlantis or ancient civilizations, even from possibly before the Earth's, before this iteration of the Earth's formation, right? The Earth can be so much older than we think it is, but timing is divine, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the magic of Lemurian quartz. No matter how old it is, the magic of it is the information in it. And what you do with a Lemurian quartz, and they come in small sizes like this and large sizes, is while you are meditating or just sitting quietly or walking, or whatever it is that you're doing, you can hold the point in your hand and just rub it like this. And as you rub it, your thumb, your hand, your body, your aura will read the information, kind of like Braille. You know, it will gather the wisdom inside the crystal, and the information will become a part of. I can't tell you what information is in here, right? But I am open to universal wisdom, source wisdom, spiritual wisdom, the wisdom of the ancients, right? I'm open to receive that. So I enjoy doing that. It's a different kind of quartz. But so, you know, clear quartz resonates with the crown chakra. It's a crown chakra stone. So it brings clarity, spiritual connection, great wisdom. And it also works with all the other chakras and all other gemstones. If you keep clear quartz with your other gemstones, it helps to keep them clear. It helps to keep them bright. Now, it's not the ultimate clearer. We'll talk about that next, but I will say that keeping clear quartz with your other crystals definitely increases the charge energy of them. Clear quartz is a very potent charger, especially if you keep your clear quartz charged. Okay, so there is a difference there. You'll notice I talked about clearing your crystals and charging your crystals. Two different ideas. Before I talk about that, let me just give you a couple of quick notes on where I found my crystals and where I think are good places to source your crystals. Now, I've mentioned that I found some of these crystals literally out walking, and that's wonderful. When you do find a crystal out walking, other stones that I like to look for are hag stones. So those are like different kinds of rock that have been worn in rivers or the ocean or bodies of water where a hole was worn through it. A hag stone, if you hold the hag stone up so that you can gaze through the hole, you can see things. It's great for scrying. It's great for, again, connecting to the ether, connecting to spirit, connecting to your higher self, and receiving guidance and wisdom back, you know, and helping to gain a better vision of your future, opening your eye, opening your vision to a better trajectory of your future. Now, nature is a wonderful place to find it, so always consider it a gift no matter where it is you find or what it is you find, right? Thank you, Spirit. But also receive it with respect and with permission, right? If you do find a gift like this somewhere, it's always nice to give something back. You know, plant a seed, plant a tree, feed the birds, clean up a little bit, you know, do something better. Make it better than it was before, you know. Make a little rock formation, you know, a little standing stone formation, or a medicine wheel in nature, just to say, you know, I'm giving you my wisdom of sacred geometry, or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you can do. Now, also locally, You can look for metaphysical shops, metaphysical bookstores, rock shops, that kind of thing. You'll often find those. Those aren't found everywhere though, right? So, but metaphysical shops are a fun place to go because you get to expose yourself to not just the 7 or 8 that I've covered here, but a wide variety. And you get to like see how you feel about each one, you know, hold your hand over, you know, a lot of times there will be bins filled with a specific kind of gemstone. Hold your hand over it or rest your hand on it or dig your hand into it and feel, how does that make me feel? And just be open to what that feeling is. Trust your feelings. More than anything, trust your feelings, because your feelings will tell you something about it. I told you obsidian will potentially feel really heavy for somebody who needs grounding. That is invariable, right? Like you will feel that if you do need grounding. So sometimes if you feel discomfort from a gemstone, it's not because there's any negativity involved there at all. It's maybe because you lack the energy that it gives. So be open to any messages that you might receive and just see what looks pretty to you also. See what speaks to your spirit. Also, online, a lot of these stones, like especially the pillars that I've gotten, the obelisks, and the clusters, and the balls I've gotten from eBay. eBay has some great deals, some great sales. I got a lot of them from auction, and I just keep my eyes open to see what's new sometimes, or I have in the past until I got way more than I need, like way more than I need. I had to literally stop myself, you know, because it's really, really an economical way to get gemstones. One, oh, here it is right here, is azurite. Edgar Cayce spoke about azurite and the gifts that azurite brings to you. And it's not easily, you know, it's not a super common gemstone in its rough crystalline form. And I got a whole bunch of azurite on eBay for a really good price, right? So that's just an example I use. Not little known stones or not common stones will end up on eBay because as they are mining for gemstones that they can use in jewelry, that they can make beads out of, that they can make obelisks out of, they will have remainders that aren't usable for what they're using it for. Sapphire and ruby is another one. I can get nice sapphire and ruby nuggets that aren't gem quality that I can use as beads, right? So I digress. eBay, also Etsy are two pretty good ways to find gemstones. I would just make sure to check the reviews and really be a little picky about, are they authentic? Do they look authentic? Maybe ask the shop owner, you know, is it authentic? That kind of thing, right? Not everything is, not all gemstones have like a lot of fakes out there, but there are some gemstones that are susceptible to faux versions. So just kind of keep your eye open for that. Now, cleansing and charging your crystals. There are two lunations that I want to mention here, and that's the new moon and the full moon. Every month you have a new moon, which is when you set your intentions, and that's when you want to charge your crystals with your intention. You know, I'm going to use this for shadow work this month, and I'm going to really dig into why I respond this specific way to my mom every time she does this. I'm going to face my demons, or, you know, what is stopping me from moving forward in this way? Where am I giving my power away? Shadow work is there's a lot to it. Anyways, new moons are the time you want to do that, and you will take your crystal, you will place it under the new moon and say, this is my intention. You know, write it down. Writing down your intentions in the new moon is a very, very powerful practice. And assigning a crystal to that new moon is a beautiful way to charge it with your intention. And this is not necessary. This is not a must. But again, taking your stone of intention, right? I'm going to learn how to remember my dreams. I'm going to become better at interpreting my dreams. I'm going to start a dream journal and pairing it with clear quartz to energize that intention, to bring spirit into the equation, to open up to divine wisdom, on this path is a great idea. So whatever your intention is, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to find ways to make more money. I'm going to learn how to make my money go further. I'm going to become happier, and empowering it with clear quartz. Very, very powerful. So, place those under the new moon and allow them to gather that energy of the new moon. Now, one thing I'll say is you want to make sure that it's a positive new moon. There are eclipses. And whenever you have an eclipse, you generally have one eclipse, and then there's a span of time. It might be 2 weeks. It could be longer. And then you're going to have another eclipse. The time between those two eclipses is called the eclipse window. I would not ever put my crystals or my malas or my crystal jewelry out under an eclipse, nor would I put it out during an eclipse window. I can't tell you how many, okay, I will say probably a good 70 to 80% of the people who have reached out to me and said, my mala broke, what can I do about it, have reached out to me when their mala broke during an eclipse or within an eclipse window. So it will break your jewelry. It will put unwanted juju into your crystals, and it will wreak havoc on your earth-given partners. So be kind to them and just keep them out of the eclipse, the light and the energy of an eclipse. Okay. Now for full moons, that's when you clear and cleanse your gemstones and your crystal jewelry. So full moons is a time of completion. Right? So every 2 weeks you'll have a lunation. You'll have a full moon, and 2 weeks later you'll have a new moon, and 2 weeks later you'll have a full moon. So every month you're going to have the opportunity to clear your gemstones under the light of the full moon. Now, again, I would make sure that it's not a full moon eclipse, right? There are eclipses during new moons and full moons. Depending on which one it is, it'll be a lunar or a solar eclipse. That's for another day. If it's not an eclipse, then you're generally safe to put your crystals under. Now, there are times when the astrology is not super auspicious. So if you listen to an astrologer, I have some favorite astrologers on YouTube. I might just put them down in the description if you're curious. And if they're telling me, oh, this full moon is heavy duty, there's some intense energy here, I might not put my crystals out. Okay, so that's just for you to decide. And again, follow your intuition and listen to your gemstones, because they will tell you what they want ultimately. Placing them under a full moon's light is a beautiful way to clear them, because full moons are gentle, right? Also, moon water. You can put a jar, an open jar, or you can even put a lid, as long as you lay the jar on its side. Allow the water to see the light, to drink the light. Glass will not interfere with that. All right. But you can just put an open bowl out if you don't have any danger of, animals coming and drinking it or something like that, and allow it to receive the light of a beautiful full moon, and let that be your moon water for the month. And dip your crystals in there, soak them in there for a few minutes. All crystals will be happy being placed in moon water. Just some crystals don't want to be soaked in for prolonged period of time. All right. So just clean them in the moon water. And that's a great thing to do also, because it keeps your crystals clean. Things like clusters like this, they can gather dust. So it's just a great way to keep them clean too. Sunlight. Sunlight is a super powerful clearer and charger. So you can use sunlight for both, right? And you will want to, differentiate. You want to clear your crystals when they're holding, a lot of energy that you need to cleanse them from. So if you are wearing your mala, for instance, at work, and it's kind of a stressful situation, you feel like you're warding off the evil eye, you feel like your mala is really helping you to shield yourself empathically from a lot of the things going on. Or, you know, you have a crystal bracelet that you've worn for a couple of months, and it's starting to feel maybe like the energy is duller or something like that. It's a great time to cleanse your crystal or your beads, right? And that's when you would use the full moonlight or the sunlight or the smudging or the sound for cleansing. Now, if you, after you've cleansed it, it's not really a blank slate, but then it could use a good charge, right? You want to reprogram it, reformat it, give it a boost of life. And that's when you allow the sunlight to permeate it with its rays. It's very, very powerful rays. It's probably the most powerful way to charge your gemstones and crystals is with the light of the sun on a sunny day, you know. But, you know, different modalities work for different stones differently, you know, and I have a whole video on using the elements to cleanse and charge your gemstones. I'll put that down in the description because there's a whole science to it. There are gemstones that resonate with water more, and you'll want to use water to clear them. There are some that resonate with fire more, and you'll want fire to clear them. So, you know, I think it's kind of important to be more familiar with what elements your gemstones are associated with and great ways for clearing them, okay? But in general, sunlight will do both. So place your gemstones out on a picnic table or on a blanket, or hang it from a tree vine, or I'm sorry, a tree branch, or even wear it just out in the sun and allow it to drink up the beautiful light of the sun that will clear and charge, all right? Smoke and smudging, just take a thing of incense. You can take a bundle of sage or a bundle of cedar wood or a stick of Palo Santo, but I just love a little incense cone of Nag Champa. It works just as well as anything else, and it's so much easier to control. It doesn't smoke up the house too much, and it smells really good. And just hold your crystals over it or your jewelry over it and just swirl it around in the smoke and allow it to, you'll see the smoke will literally work its way around the gemstone and the beads. It'll just creep up around it, and that's bathing it in smoke. Okay, beautiful smudge. Now you want to make sure to blow the smoke off of it after. That's kind of an important part of smudging that people tend to leave out. If you're going to go around your house with a bundle of sage and smudge, you then need to open the windows and put a fan or blow it out with a handheld fan. A lot of people will use feathers or like a pretend wing of feathers. But that's an important part, is clearing the smoke away. That's what gets rid of the old energy, you know, and allows the true form and the true authentic energy of a thing to become present again, right? Unimpeded. And then sound, singing bells, chimes, gongs, listening to solfeggio music even on YouTube and just letting it play for a day while you hang your crystals up around or stand them up around and just let them sing or just let them drink in the tones, chanting Om. Om. If you have a mala, then just speak Om once for each bead as you work your way around. Om, Om, Om. And let your intention, your fingertips with your intention, vibrate on each bead as you vibrate with Om, the primordial sound of creation, the primordial sound of the universe. So that's a really powerful one. So that's clearing and charging. Really, I mean, you don't have to get too sticky or too technical about, you know, oh, I have to make sure to clear it every month and I have to make sure then charge it afterwards, right? Again, your beads will tell you what they want, and you will naturally do. If you're working sincerely with your gemstones, you will be moved to do what's best for them. They'll tell you what they want and you'll think it's your idea. So, you know, there you go. Now, how to use them? again, I've mentioned carrying them in my bra, carrying them in my pocket, wearing them in a medicine pouch is a wonderful way, but wearing them as a necklace or a bracelet, super powerful, right? If you want to receive the energy from something, I am right-handed, so the left hand is my receiving hand. So if I want to receive an energy from something, I'll wear a mala or a bracelet on my receiving hand. Citrine, I want to receive abundance and wealth this day, right? So I chose citrine for my left hand. I'm making a video. I want to be clear at communicating. So I'm wearing sapphire, great for my throat chakra and communication and wisdom. I want to give good communication and I want to share wisdom. So on my giving hand, I'm wearing blue, right? I am wearing tiger's eye around my neck. Tiger's eye gives you courage and confidence. Tiger's eye also resonates with that solar plexus chakra, so it brings life and light to the party, right? So I want to feel good and vital too, right? So really wearing your beads is probably the best way to work with gemstones and crystals, right? You know, of course, you want to work with them in all ways. So there are other things you can do. Keep them on your desk. I used to work at a company where it was a very, 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 very stressful place to work, and the people were not happy at all. So I felt like I really needed to shield my energy, you know, and so I placed tourmalinated quartz, amethyst, and I believe peacock ore on my desk. And it was a really powerful combination. It happened on accident, right? But there are no accidents when you're working with gemstones. I ended up placing those on my desk because they're the ones that wanted to be placed there, and it was the best combination. I had the best possible outcome at that workplace, and I know that my gemstone allies had a lot to do with that, you know. So again, allow your gemstones to tell you what they want. If somebody gifts you something, that's probably the universe saying, you need this, okay? So, you know, keep on your desk or altar or your bedside. Your bedside, you don't probably want to have energizing stones. You know, some people don't like clear quartz in the bedroom because clear quartz could be energizing. But citrine definitely is one of those energizing gemstones, you know, anything that resonates with the solar plexus chakra. But I've never had a problem with anything outside of that, okay? If you place, now definitely amethyst will be happy on your nightstand, as will heart chakra stones and sacral chakra stones. So the oranges, the pinks, the greens, you know. But if you place something in your bedroom, I recommend you place one crystal at a time so that you can recognize if you're not having a good night's sleep. You can be like, oh, I added that obsidian last night or the other night and I haven't slept well since. Whereas if you put 3 gemstones at a time, you won't know which one is causing the upset, right? So all I recommend is bringing it into your bedroom, bring one at a time so you can kind of differentiate how the energy is working for you. Your altar, you know, I have multiple of these in my home. This you could consider a crystal altar or a gemstone altar, right? Just something pretty, a tray or a plate or a bowl where you can fit some gemstones that you feel would make a good configuration for the energy of that room, for an intention that you might set, for a specific time in your life. You know, when I was planning my wedding, and that was a long time ago, I had a configuration of gemstones on my desk that would bring me a long and happy marriage, fertility, you know, a safe home, you know, a thriving garden, like the things that you might have as intentions. And the way you would find those is really Googling. Googling will tell you a lot, you know, and then check in with your intuition, right? So really, though, the most powerful practice that I have ever done with gemstones is I would lay down and I would place the clear quartz on my crown chakra. So I'm laying on the floor on a yoga mat. I put the clear quartz against my crown chakra, so it's not actually on anything, it's on the ground. I put the amethyst on my third eye chakra. I put the sodalite on my throat chakra, right? The rose quartz on my heart chakra, the citrine on my solar plexus chakra, the red jasper on my sacral chakra, and then I would put obsidian down by my root chakra. Again, that won't rest on your body because the root chakra and the crown chakra are points like this, right? While you're lying down. So just on the floor right next to you, pushed right up against your root chakra, and lay there and let the gemstones resonate with your chakras. It's important not to get the gemstones mixed up with your chakras, right? You want to follow that pattern, because if you put a root chakra stone where your crown chakra is or somewhere else, the frequency of the vibration won't resonate with the frequency of your chakra, and you will not be tuning it in properly. All right. This is a tuning process. The gemstones, this resonates with a really high frequency, right? And what frequency is how frequently the wave goes up and down. High frequency, right? This is a very low frequency. So very infrequently does it go up and down, right? That's what it means, right? So a low frequency, there's nothing wrong with it. So, low vibe, we always talk about low vibe. Well, you have an energetic body, and there's a part of you that has a low frequency. Honor that and give it the tuning fork or the tuner that brings that frequency into perfection, right? And allow your brow chakra to meet the frequency that truly, truly resonates with it. Put these gemstones on all of your chakras, lay there and give it a month, maybe 2. Just be at peace and allow the gemstones to do their work for 5 to 10 minutes a day and see what happens. All right. Now that was my second Kundalini awakening I had when I did this with crystals. And that's the only thing I did differently, other than, yes, I did do a little bit of yoga. And I'm sure that probably helped to empower the process. But it was not my intention to have a Kundalini awakening. It wasn't my focus at all. My focus was to commune with the gemstones. I love gemstones and crystals, and I have an affinity for the ones that I own, that own me, that share my space, that have come into my life, right? I love them, and I wanted to experience them as deeply as I could and see what gifts they brought. And they brought this amazing experience where in a Kundalini awakening, there are different reports on what you experience and what it feels like. For me, it was a shaking, a racking, it wasn't a trembling, because trembling is fast. It was an unfast racking of my body. I didn't know what was happening to me. In fact, I tried to calm myself down, so I surrendered and I submitted to the energy and just waiting for it to kind of spiral down or spool down. And it did in about 5 minutes. And after that, there were chakras opened in my body that caused interesting, that's for another video. It was an interesting month after that, I'll tell you that. But, I recommend, highly recommend, all right? Another thing you can do with your gemstones is meditate with it. Hold it in your hand, hold it in both your hands, and just sit peacefully and however it is you choose to meditate. Do you choose to use mantra? Do you listen to guided meditation? Do you sit quietly and allow your thoughts to come and go? Whatever it is that you do is perfect, because that is what you are called to do. And let the gemstone work with you, and you will, in meditation, understand what the vibration is, what the resonance of that gemstone is or those beads are. That's how I got to learn. That's how I came to master the gemstones that I work with, is just by experiencing them, right? That's the best way to do it. Let them tell you what they are. Let them tell you how they interact with you and with other stones. All right. And then lastly, you set intentions and affirmations with them, again, like with new moon energy, but you don't have to wait for new moon. Right? A lot of people will order malas from me and tell me what the intention is for that mala. I invite that. You know, that's really traditionally the way a mala should be made, specifically for a person and specifically for their intentions, right? So say I'm going to go get a bracelet today and it's going to attract love, you know, and then go find you a nice rose quartz or aventurine or some heart chakra gemstone bracelet that's going to be used for that purpose. You know, you can always repurpose them later. When I say repurpose, I mean give it a new intention after that intention has been fulfilled, because it will be fulfilled eventually, right? But the gemstone is still perfectly good. So just remember what gemstones go with what chakras, and that will give you an idea of what kinds of intentions it would be good for going forward, right? So really, again, I say it over and over again, but I can't say it enough. Follow your intuition. You can start with 1 or 2 crystals or gemstones, and you know, your collection will inevitably grow from there, right? So just go with what calls to you to begin with, and then see what calls to you next. All right. And please let me know, which crystal are you drawn to right now? Which of these 7 or 8, if you count Aventurine, are resonating most with you? Remember, one crystal, one breath, one moment at a time. Mala blessings, love and light.